Again, a new episode today with Ryan Dyer, DJ IDAF. He's have an amazing journey producing music, and he's going to tell all about us today. Ryan, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being here. How are you?
Uh, I'm well, man. I'm well. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really looking forward to this and talking to you for a little while, man.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much. So, Ryan, you have really an amazing journey. How did all this started? I mean, did you have this idea since you were a child? It became just afterwards. Tell us a bit about that.
I mean, back when I was a kid, I always loved music. It actually started when I was in church. We were a big religious church-going family, going every Sunday. And the one thing I enjoyed and looked forward to was the music. Was the drummers, was the beat. When there was a nice beat, I'd be sitting there moving to it. I had to have a tambourine in my hand. My mom bought me a tambourine just so I could sit there in the crowd or area, whatever you want to call it, and I would play to the beat. So I always loved music. I did take saxophone lessons growing up, piano lessons.
Okay.
Through the years. Now, when I got to high school, it kind of fell to the backside. I always loved music, but I played sports. Back in my day, we didn't have phones or iPads or iPods or anything like that. It was a tape recorder.
Right.
It was a CD player.
Yeah.
So it wasn't as accessible. So I played sports though. We were outside, but once I got to college, a friend of mine bought a pair of DJ equipment, and I just happened to, after 2 years of college, take a year off for some issues in my personal life that I had. I wasn't doing that well in school. I was, having fun. I was being a kid, having fun, not focusing on things that I should. But it was a rude awakening for me. Once I got home, it was, all right, do you want to work 60, 70 hours a week to support yourself? Or do you want to learn, you know what I mean? Do you want to learn and do something else?
Yeah.
So I wound up, burning CDs and learning how to DJ from my friend's equipment. And it was kind of history from there. We did one graduation party. And people were like, hey, do you guys do parties? What are you guys doing? This is good. And we were like, yeah, I guess we do. We started booking parties since then. And, my parents then saw the passion that I had for it and helped me buy my first set of a DJ equipment. And so it was mine, it was my equipment. And then I went back to school, started DJing at the bars out there. And then, it's been history ever since, man. I've made a pretty good living, in the music industry.
How did you feel when you was getting to something? I mean, obviously, when you started, you didn't have like big achievements because you didn't know where it was going to. How did you feel during that stage?
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. That took a very, very, very long time to even feel that way. Growing up, even when I was young in the DJ field, I would always have fun at parties and people were always having fun, but I was very critical of myself. I never wanted to go promote myself to the bigger clubs or the bigger parties because, in my opinion, it was, your first impression is a lasting one. You know what I mean? So if I go in there and mess up the first time I'm there, they'll never have me back. So it took me a while to get the confidence to even go into a club like that and say, hey, here I am. I was in a strip club for 5 years. And now I appreciate that time for one reason. I was DJing for 7 hours, 5 days a week. And having to use my voice and having to announce people and having to announce the girls coming in, which helped me on the microphone. It helped me get comfortable talking on a microphone that most DJs don't have, or they're not good talking on the microphone. They might talk, but they're shouting or they're squeaky or their voice doesn't sound well.
Yeah, you need to connect with the crowd, right? I mean, to make know what they want to listen, what is the the atmosphere,
Yeah.
things like that. I guess. Yeah, yeah,
Hype them up, get their hands up, get them going. Help them out with a couple songs they might not know where the drop is coming, and they could have a great time bouncing to it. So there's so many different aspects to it. That's helped me along the way. So I appreciate that time that I had doing it, but it's been a long journey for me to
right.
get to this. Eventually I wound up, after like 7 years, you're talking about a long time DJing and being in the industry, where I finally got the courage, because I'm the biggest critic of myself, with everything. So you got to fight through it. You got, and then once I did, and, got in, it was like of such a refreshing feeling, but you're still nervous as a DJ. You can't be complacent. You always got to learn, and you always got to get better, because there's someone right behind you. We don't, I always say, we don't get 2 weeks notice. You know what I mean? We don't get unemployment. Yeah. We don't, we don't get a day. If an owner calls me up and says, listen, we don't need you to come in tonight, guess what? I don't get paid that night, and I don't have a job that night. Yeah. Yeah. It's so, our industry, we got to get better. We got to get better every day.
How do you actually, I mean, obviously you need to have very strong mindset, because you are working with that type of pressure, and we are working with the pressure, having the crowd looking at you, and you want to do everything right. How did you develop that experience to, come up and be strong enough for these both factors?
Well, it's trying to get comfortable, right? I mean, That's really what it is. It's trying to be comfortable in your surroundings, and trying to be comfortable with every party and place that you do. I'll be honest with you. In my earlier days, it was a couple shots. It was a couple shots of vodka with some Red Bull to get me loose, to get me kind of like my guard down a little bit, because I'm sitting there, I'm praying before each gig. I'm sitting there like huffing and puffing, having anxiety, almost giving myself anxiety because of the pressure I put on myself to make every party the best party I've done, and to make the crowd feel what I feel. So, I mean, it was a couple shots for a very long time, until I pretty much said to myself, listen, you've been doing this for 15 years. You get over yourself. You know what I mean? Like, you're good. Now I don't drink really at all, ever. I'm not a big drinker. But yeah, I mean, I needed to take a couple shots in the beginning. But and to me, I was
for people who don't know, I was actually involved a little bit doing music. I didn't music myself, but a good close friend of mine was DJ. So I did know a lot of the struggles when he was live, because, I mean, the needles, because back then it was not like today. I mean, back then we're talking about vinyl records. You have the needles. Sometimes the needles were weared out, making different sounds. The table, because the table is different when you go to a place, so it's composite to a different DJ, so you need to fix it. And all these struggles, you need to compensate them and be relaxed at the same time. So I do understand what you're saying.
Right.
Yeah.
It's I was told a long time ago, early in my career, that you got to prepare for success. If you prepare for success, you'll be fine. If you prepare yourself properly, and you're ready for each event, once you start going, you're going to be set. You're going to be ready. And I've took that to heart, to be honest with you, where before every job I do, whether it's a local bar or a major big club where, there's 15, I'm looking at my sets beforehand. I'm going in 15, I'm creating a different folder and a different file for each night. And now I might not even use that file, but I'm preparing, just in case it goes in this direction, it goes in that direction. Now, if I see it going in a certain different way, I might be able to go to a party I used to do, or a party I did in the past was like, oh, this folder is going to rock them. You know what I mean?
Right,
I
right.
see that. So it's visioning that, it's seeing what the people are doing and preparing yourself for success, man. I'll always say that if you're not prepared, then that's your fault. If you fail, that's on you. If I prepare and I fail, I did my best. That
Yeah.
doesn't happen. I, I don't remember a time where that's happened where I failed after preparing. So, but if that were the case, that's how I'd feel about it.
I just want to compliment two things that you said. One of the things was, to how to evaluate yourself. That's really important for people, who might listen to this episode or are seeing it. Why is this important? Because if you don't know yourself well, you won't be able to help other people or to do whatever for others as you should. And it's very important to do that in order to get a better version of yourself and to get whatever you want to get to.
Right.
The second part is there's always going to be steps down. I mean, the journey is like that. Every time you start something, you never know the end result. But you need
Nope.
to keep on doing it and on doing it and trying it and keep on pushing it to get there. And it's never failure. It's
Right.
always more experience that you got. The experience
Right.
that you've done something and you know that was not the right way to get where you what you wanted to. So you know that you need to do in another different track, and you keep on perseverance. So I mean,
Absolutely.
people should evaluate these two things as part of their journey in life to do whatever they want to do. Otherwise,
Right.
you'll never start nothing. Because if you were afraid, oh, I'm afraid to start this because it can go wrong. Well, then don't do it, man.
Right. Right. Right.
I always
Right.
say,
Right.
if you
Right.
want to get on the rain, you need to get wet. Not like with
Right.
umbrella to make sure you don't get wet. That doesn't work, because
Yeah,
you need
man.
to pass it through your own skin in order to get that experience, to know how it feels, and you know how it works in the future. And when you have that experience to be
Right.
in there, to be in front. I don't know what is the actual feeling of being in front of thousands of people. I mean, I've done similar, not playing, but talking.
Right.
So I do know that feeling.
Right.
And I guess playing music is the same thing. You
Yeah.
have thousand eyes, looking at you and said, "Oh my God, what I'm going to do."
It's right, right, right. Well, listen. The good thing is when you get to a certain point, your mistakes you hear, a lot of people might not hear. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So as long as you keep going and the music don't shut off, you're
yeah,
probably good, and they probably won't notice it. But yeah, it's tough, man. Getting that, it's if you make a mistake, it's learning from it. So
yeah,
I agree with you 100%. It's any mistake I've made, I don't make it again. You got to learn from it and make sure that uh, you're prepared to not do it again.
yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
that simple.
We call it the Einstein theory, which I always follow through during all my life. He said that don't expect doing the same thing, expecting a different result. So
Absolutely. It's
yeah, yeah,
we need to, like, as DJs, in my opinion, every a lot of people can mix music. You know what I mean? A lot of people can mix a beat. It's trying things. It's working outside the box. It's playing a song that normal people might not play at the club or the bar, and still getting people to rock out to it
yeah,
because you took them on a journey. You took them on a journey yourself and made them feel that song when they normally might not. Where you're playing just maybe the chorus of a song that everybody out there is going to sing,
yeah,
even though it's not really what you're playing, but you're working outside the box. You're putting a different beat behind it.
yeah,
And, that's what's going to make you a DJ that stands out. That's what's going to make you a DJ that will keep getting work, that
yeah.
because you're working outside a box and still
Yeah.
making people move.
How do you get your? I mean, you produced some tracks already. I'm not sure how many, but yeah, I know you produced quite a few. Um, how do you got the inspiration? Because I'm pretty sure, I mean, you might have some base of inspiration according, to the audience, what they want to hear, the kind of beat.
Right,
How,
right, right.
what is your thoughts when you're actually producing a track?
Well, I actually just started, producing and doing music, and I'm working with a couple great guys that have won some very, very big awards.
Good.
But I've done a lot of mixes, a lot of radio stuff, a lot like, but with producing and it's just finding inspiration somewhere. It's just finding hooks. It's listening to music and hearing, like when you start producing, you start listening to music differently.
Right.
You start listening to every track you hear differently. Oh, that sounds cool, but maybe I could do this.
Yeah.
I was, when I get into some, I do research on it. I get, on how other people did it, on how other people started. That's how I learn. Where people are making tracks from uh, uh, street sign walkers, where beat you like out you're in Amsterdam. It's a for people walking, I guess, for blind people, and it's a
Right.
really cool beat that you could change drastically, where you can make a song. So there's inspiration everywhere. For me, it's trying to find beats more than the songs right now that I know I love, and I know, and I'm hoping that other people enjoy them as well. Because listen, when you've been doing it as long as I have, and I tell people all the time, like, it's crazy how some of these owners and some of the bars don't ask entertainers and ask DJs and ask
Yeah.
people how to help their bars and clubs. We
Yeah.
know what makes people move.
Yeah.
We know what makes people have fun. Like, we know what makes a great party. So knowing that is just the inspiration too that helps.
Sure.
But it's a surprise that most owners don't ask us for those opinions, because, like I said, that's, we know what's going to help and move the people.
Yeah.
But the people give me the inspiration to try to make more music to make them happy. I've been a people pleaser my entire life. And whether it's been in the music industry or, we went to Nicaragua to drill clean water for villages.
Yeah.
I just want to see smiles on people's faces. And this is how I know I can reach the most people. That's where my inspiration is, man.
Would you think that the nightlife would change dramatically if business owners will actually change their mindset? Is it generally the same mindset everywhere, or it depends the region or the part of the country?
I think it's the mindset for a lot of the owners out here. I really do. I think, a lot of which, listen, I'll say this: they're the owners. They bought the bar, they bought the club. So I understand people wanting to run things their way.
Yeah.
It would just be nice sometimes if they took a little bit of advice on, what they should do. In terms of whether it's drink specials, drink prices, whether it's specials for ladies or even guys. And certain owners and certain people do awesome, and that's why their bars are doing great. They have a good team behind them, and they and they've been doing it for a while, I guess you could say. But yeah, I think the mindset for everywhere though is like, they think throwing money at it is going to help. Sometimes just throwing money and just getting the greatest DJ out there isn't going to make your club great. Just because you hire a $40,000 DJ doesn't mean people are going to come. It doesn't. It depends on your location, how far out, where's your clientele. You know what I mean? Like, if your clientele is, an open format crowd where you have a diverse crowd, locally, but you're trying to hire a club EDM DJ and trying to get rich, not as the, rich white people say, what I mean, to come out. They're not going to travel an hour and a half to go see that. You know what I mean? It's just not going to happen. So I think people need to start catering toward their local base, their crowds. But there's a lot, man. There's a lot to do with it.
Of
I
course.
could go on forever on that.
So, I mean, when you go to, for example, to a club and you find that there's a mixed audience, different types of music, how did you usually do? I mean, you play different types of music to everyone. You try to please everyone. I mean,
Well,
yeah,
I like to. It depends. It depends on the club or the bar you're at. 100%. Obviously, they're the ones that hire you. If I'm there to play, like you said, like, all right, if I'm there to open up or play with Marshmello, I'm playing dance music. You know what I mean? You're
right,
playing that type of music, not his music, but that type of music. Now if you're at a club that, yeah, you're allowed to play open format, I'm playing everything. I'm seeing what the crowd loves. I love open format, because I like going up and down. I like playing a lot of dance and then coming down and playing some hip hop or some Spanish music, some reggae, whatever the crowd is feeling. And I'll stay. I'll mainly stay in that range where those people are loving it and having a good time. You don't want them to leave. I might try something outside the box to see if they stay with it. If they
sure,
don't stay with it, then I'm gonna come right back to it, because that's what they love.
yeah,
I like trying different things. I'm an outside the box DJ, unless they want me inside. If they want me to stay inside, I'm gonna stay there, and we're gonna have a
yeah,
great time.
yeah,
So it all depends. But yeah, I mean, if I was just going into it, reading a crowd, yeah, I'm gonna play what they're rocking to, and that could be anything. It could be anything from reggae to EDM.
nice, nice. What was your biggest achievements or gigs that you can comment a little bit about?
A lot of the biggest parties, Harris Pool. I
Okay,
worked at Harris Pool for a really long time. I had a great Saturday party there, daytime party that I worked that we was great. That was probably my Saturdays is probably my favorite just because it was mine. You know what I mean? Like, it was mine. I pretty much, with obviously help, built that party, but I was the main focus. I
sure,
was the
sure.
host, the MC, DJ, and everything. So that was kind of my biggest party and success. But just working at Harris, I've worked with so many different people. Doc Gooden's been at the parties, Tara Reid. They had a lot of celebrities at these parties at Harris Pool. Marshmello,
Right.
a lot of other DJs I can't even remember off the top of my head. That's a huge party. Like I said, I was talking to you earlier. Harris Pool is one of the top 10 clubs in the United States of America, or at least was for a very, very long time. And if you
Yeah.
look at them now, they have the biggest names in dance music coming to their club right now. They have everyone, Armin, they've had John Summit, they've had
Yeah.
James Hyde, they've had everybody there. So I've worked on the same stages with the biggest DJs in the world. So that's pretty cool, obviously.
Yeah.
But another big party that I helped grow is Jenkinson's Pavilion. It's Jenks Club. It's a beach party in New Jersey,
Okay.
in Point Pleasant, New Jersey. It was sometimes part of the Jersey Shore show way back in the day. But we built that to another thing that I was talking to you earlier about, to thousands of people at this party, where it is absolutely the biggest party in New Jersey in the summertime at this point. Where I've been there for about 8-9 years. And we built it from where it wasn't even a beach party, where we
Right.
were doing good numbers. Don't get me wrong, a couple thousand people, now we're doing upwards to 10 to 15, so it's been, I've been a part of some really successful parties,
Right.
that, I'll always look back and can't believe it. I get goosebumps and chills before every time we do every one of these parties. So it's been great.
I mean, I was your obviously when you work at that high level. Of course, there's extra pressure, I would guess, because you're working with fellow colleagues. At that level, at
Yeah.
precision. How did you feel when you were playing at the same stage with all these names?
I mean, first you're humbled. I'm
Yeah,
humbled from everything. I appreciate every time I go out and DJ. I DJ like it might be my last night because I don't know what my life is going to bring. Now, I hope it's not, obviously. I hope I'm DJing for the next 15, 20 years of my life because the feeling I get when I'm with these people or with other people, I just get chills. I
yeah,
get chills. I get goosebumps. Like I said, I'm humbled by it, and I appreciate it. I take it all in and try to appreciate every night and every crowd that I have.
amazing, amazing. So, what advice? I mean, obviously, you had a long journey through different types of technology, as you say, because we started from basic. Now it's everything is digital. What
Right.
advice would you give to fellow DJs out there to try to reach success? What was, the main tool for you to know how it is and how to
Uh,
make it
well, is don't give up. Don't give up. Um, you're gonna come across a lot of downfalls. You're gonna come across a lot of negatives. You're gonna come across a lot of people that don't want to see you succeed. You're gonna come across a lot of people that talk bad about you, even though you've done nothing to them. You're
Yeah,
gonna you're gonna deal with a lot of negative stuff in this industry. It is not a forgiving industry. It's not a graceful industry. It's a very, very hard industry to get into. It's a very hard industry to stay in with. It is about networking. It is about becoming friends with a lot of people,
yeah,
staying in your lane. You know what I mean? Not undercutting people or them feeling like you're undercutting them. I mean, it is a tough business to navigate through. It's a tough business to stay at a high level in. So like I said, it's don't give up. Like if you really love music and you really love DJing, is don't give up, and make music. Try to produce. That's how you. If you want to be famous, if you want to be a big guy, and you
yeah,
got to make music. You have to. Now that doesn't mean you can't be a successful DJ. I've been extremely successful and happy in my life with what I've done without, making the tracks or producing work. I'm doing it now because I love it and want to know and always want to learn and always want to better myself. But though that would be my advice is don't give up. Respect everybody in the game. Don't talk about nobody. Stay in your lane and just know that there's other places. There's so many clubs. There's always new bars. So don't get discouraged if you don't stay in a bar, or if a DJ group or an owner doesn't like you. That
yeah,
doesn't mean the next guy isn't. You know what
yeah,
I mean? I'm sure there's owners that don't like me for whatever reason. I hope not. You know what I mean? Not that I know of, but
yeah,
I'm sure they don't. So but I can't help that. And I was also told once, control what you can control.
yeah, yeah,
That's
absolutely.
control what you can control. Work hard, do your job, prepare for success, and control the party the way you can control it, and you'll be fine. And you'll be fine. But you got to have thick skin in this business. If you don't have thick skin, don't even try.
Yeah,
Don't
yeah,
don't even. There's times even now. I mean, there's times even now where I get depressed sometimes in my head. Where I'm like, how did
yeah,
I not get that? How did I not get that bar?
yeah,
Like, wait, what do you mean? Like, you know what I mean? It's just, like, so I know myself. I'm, like I said before, I'm hard on myself. So even
yeah,
with stuff like that, you just got to be strong.
yeah, yeah. Would you think that society is more relentless in your sector, or you think it's actually in any sector society is like that, always putting the bad things around people to demotivate people. And how do you think that could actually change?
Well, well, it depends on the field you're in, I guess I want to say. I'm sure there's other fields, like actors and people in the entertainment industry and now social media people, where, yes, I do think in this industry, in the music industry, in the DJ, we're public. People are videoing us every night. Whether you're at a local bar or we're at a huge club, I'm being videotaped. I'm on videos. I'm on social media. So you're always being scrutinized. You're always, so yes, do I think it's, you know, is it more scrutinized than, your regular daily job that's not in
Yeah.
social media? Yeah, absolutely. It's probably just as scrutinized though as anybody else that might be in entertainment. You know what I mean? Actors, social media, people nowadays. So.
Why? I mean, I always ask this question because to me, it happened to me too. So, I mean, I don't understand the part of our society, especially for people who just stuck there and try to follow someone's life, just what he does all the time to try to point the finger and try to go and put something back. I mean, I never understood why these people actually exist. Why don't they do something more productive, right? I mean, just don't, instead of the time wasting, following someone, do something for yourself, for society, right? I
You
mean,
would think.
what is your point of view on that? I mean,
You would listen. You would think there's always going to be, unfortunately, with social media these days.
yeah,
There's always going to be the quote unquote trolls or people that just want to talk bad about people. And for me, I feel bad for those people. To be honest with you, I don't take anything that is said bad about me to heart. Even if somewhat it's true, you know what I mean? Because, these people aren't going to say to our faces or other people's faces, they're going to type it on their computer.
yeah,
And to be honest with you, just like you're kind of saying, I feel bad for those people because one, their self-esteem is obviously not great. I've learned through getting older and being an adult to take a step back and try to look at points of view from other people's perspective. I don't know what's going on in that person's life. I don't know if someone passed away in their life. I don't know what troubles, they might have. So I feel bad, I don't know why people act the way they do, why they get a thrill, why they're excited about bringing other people down. I mean, good for them. You know what I mean? If I could delete the comment, I'll delete it just so it's not negative stuff on my page. But I don't take it to heart. I guess maybe right off the bat, if it's something really bad, you might feel a certain way about it. But I'll move past that. I'll forget about it because it's like you said, it's just people trolling and they want to get attention. They know you're getting it. They know you have attention, whoever it is they're talking about, and they're hoping that their one comment, brings attention to them from other people or from yourself. And, I don't entertain it. And if I do entertain it, I say, God bless you. I hope you're doing well, and I'll be praying for you.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. I totally resonate with you on that. And I think people should auto evaluate themselves in what they're doing when they do something like that, right? I mean, it's something to really think about. Why you're wasting your effort, doing something negative while you could do it totally opposite and positive to people, So
Right.
I call it optimizing time, So
Right. Like to me, you're right. If you want to comment, be positive. Like that's fantastic. That's great. Like. And that's what's going to help everybody in the world, period, is the happiness, and promoting that. Like if I'm commenting on somebody's page, it's only good stuff. I'm not commenting at something negative because I disagree or whatever. No, to each his own,
Of course. So, Ryan, tell us a bit. What are your thoughts, in new tracks or new stage? How do you see
Yeah, yeah,
yourself within the next maybe 5, 10 years? Are you still doing the same? Doing
yeah.
differently? Tell us a bit about that.
Well, I mean, first, everybody could check my Instagram, DJ High Def. Is the same thing with SoundCloud, Spotify, all that stuff. So
Sure.
that's where you can find me. I do plan, I'm producing tracks. I got a lot of friends that I'm working with right now. So I hope to have actually a bunch of new stuff out before summertime. That will be nice summer anthems that we can,
Nice.
get great songs and stuff out there.
Yeah.
Coming up, I actually got a couple dates out in Rhode Island that I'm really looking forward to. Really great parties. I'll be posting them on my social media as well.
Nice.
So you can always catch me on Instagram is where my dates and clubs and bars will be when I'm traveling in states or out of states. So Instagram is my main source of social media that I use for, the DJ and stuff like that. And then, yeah, we have I mean, listen, in the summertime, if you're in New Jersey, if you don't come to Jenks, you're missing. You know what I mean?
Right.
You just
Right.
missed out
Right.
on the biggest party in New Jersey, period. And I'm literally not saying that because I work there. I'm saying that because it is literally the biggest party you can go to. It's on the beach, and we have the best entertainment you could find with the best music. We have, the band. We have a band inside. We got the DJ outside on the beach. When the band's taking a break, the DJ's on inside as well. And that's what, I'm there every weekend in the summertime because of how big of a party it is. I DJ there a lot. I DJ there every weekend, actually, and I host an MC. So there's nowhere I'd rather be unless it's, out of state, a bigger club out of state,
Yeah.
which I will do that in the summertime. So I mean, I got a lot of stuff coming up, which you'll be able to find on the Instagram.
Very nice. Congratulations for all these future gigs and what you're planning.
Yeah,
Um, for sure, I can tell you from myself. I wish you all the best on that, and keep me posted all the time. Because for
absolutely.
sure, I'll join you one of your gigs soon. I'll be
Yeah,
there supporting you in present. In one of your shows.
yeah. We'll have
So
a great time. Trust me on that. Listen,
I
I've
believe you.
taken pride. I've taken so much pride in my work.
Yeah, yeah,
And I don't remember a bad party that we've had. So we'll definitely have a blast.
for sure, for sure. I'm looking forward to that. I won't forget. I won't forget. So Ryan, what else can you tell us about your industry? I mean, obviously you mentioned about statistics, how is the environment, how people react to different sounds. How did you got all this knowledge, to get where you are today?
Honestly, it's what I kind of already spoke about a little bit is networking. It's kind of going through the motions. It was kind
Yeah,
of going through the circuits. Like I said, I started off at college in the bar. You know what I
yeah,
mean? At a little club, little pub, and then like a bar there just because I was there and they knew we brought the college kids. That's it. After that, it was not easy getting into other bars and clubs. So it was working hard. It was,
right.
like I said, I wound up, a friend of mine got me into the DJ thing. And that's where I started even getting better at my craft. I had to learn. I was not good enough after college, and it was not easy for us either. We're working with, like you said, turntables,
Yeah.
carrying lugs of crates of
And
records.
the boxes of vinyls, they're
Right,
weighted a lot,
right.
to
It was
carry
weighed a
them.
lot. You needed a big car. It
Yeah,
was harder to be successful. It was harder to prepare. It was a lot more of ear rather than visual. Now you can be a visual DJ because you can see all the beats. You can see all the algorithms and everything. So back then it was you're just listening to it. You didn't have anything visual, and then CDs and all that stuff. So it was a grind. You know, it was a grind learning. Now it's a little bit easier these days for the kids growing up. They have a lot of YouTube videos they can watch. They have a lot of stuff that can teach them. And I recommend that taking classes, finding out, you know, what music, the background of music, you know, and learning everything about it if you want to be a successful DJ. It'll only help you. It will only help you along your journey. I'm even learning stuff now that I wish I learned 20 years ago. So, you know, so it's knowing about the music theory. It's knowing about the beats. It's learning what other DJs do and how. Listen, James Hype is one of the most impressive DJs I've ever seen in my entire life. He's done things and learned things that no one else has ever done before. Learn from him. You know what I mean? Think outside the box. You know, learn from these other DJs. They're putting their stuff on social media. You know what I mean? They're not telling you everything, but that should give you an inkling. Start thinking outside the box.
Do you think the differentiality is regarding the vision of the person, how the beat has to be, or the platform does help a lot doing that? Obviously, you need to have an idea what you want to produce. I think that's a big differentiality, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, listen, before I even start listening to beat, I start listening to a whole bunch of different songs. Right. Whole bunch of different mixes, whole bunch of different DJ, like where I'm, you know, even if it's Instagram and their reels, you know, I'm listening to other people, the way they're mashing different songs together, where you're like, holy crap, that is the same sound. Like, that is perfect. So it's, you know what I mean? So, and then that'll spark my head to different songs that I have in my folders that are different songs than what they're using. But it's like, oh, wow, that sounded just like that, which sounded just like that. And I can put those two together. So it's listening to music and thinking while you're listening to music and thinking of other beats and other jingles and other choruses and other sounds. Yeah, man, I'm always learning, but it's also learning from other people and how they're learning. It's crazy. How you can learn so many different ways.
Do you have like different thoughts when you're producing a track? You have a different feeling when you stop, you know, when you finish producing that track, and some of the tracks that you had a different feeling that you know, I'm not really sure. Did you ever felt like that?
Yeah, it's the same. I'll be honest, it's the same thing when I started out DJing. It's the same thing with producing the tracks. You know, sometimes you're like, no, that's crap. You know, like, no, that's terrible. Like, God, you know, and you get frustrated, and it still might be good, but you're like, no. But yeah, when you know you made a good mix, a good track, or whatever it is, yeah, that feeling is the same feeling I get when I'm in front of the crowd and I have thousands of people's hands in the air. Is almost the same feeling you're getting when that track is finished, you know, or that mix is finished, and you're like, yeah, that's a good one. And then you get to, as a DJ, obviously, you get to go then play. You get to go then play it for people, and then you get to go see their reactions. So, and when you get that same reaction that you know you made a good track, it was nothing like it.
I guess you feel the buzz, right? Because you know that for you did something like really outstanding, but you're still not sure until you get the buzz from the people, right?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I've always compared it to, I played baseball. Okay, right. I loved playing baseball, and to us, hitting a home run obviously is probably the best thing you can do, you know, as an individual baseball player. And I always compared it to the feeling when you hit a home run. You know what I mean? Like that feeling is like no other feeling you'll get in the world. You know, winning a game for your team with a home run, or hitting a home run just in general. You know, that feeling you get right away is, to me, it's just like the ending for making a song. It's just like the end. You know, you just hit a home run. You know, you just knock that one out of the ballpark, and you get that feeling.
Yeah, amazing. So I mean, any other thoughts that you want to share regarding all your experience, what you're doing, what you're producing, so people know your work a bit more besides what you publish? Do you have any gigs just coming in that are not published yet, or you want to share something else?
Well, I'll definitely be sharing stuff in the next couple of months in terms of
Okay.
songs. I'll put it on my Instagram and then it'll go to the SoundCloud. I have a couple great, like I said, DJs before that have won a lot of really big awards in the industry with mixing and producing tracks that I'm just grateful.
Congratulations.
I'm grateful for them. And you know, like I said, I'm actually doing Coliseum in Rhode Island
Okay.
this Friday. Nice big club out there in Rhode Island. Last time I was out there, the crowd was nuts. Obviously, you know, they wanted me back, and then I'll actually be out there in March too for a whole weekend at three different clubs
Nice.
out there. You know, to capitalize on that. And obviously, we did a great job out there. That's why we booked a whole weekend at three different clubs too. So I'll be posting that as well with our flyers probably next week. So I mean, and then we're in a couple months. We're in summer.
Right.
I start Jenkinson's the first weekend in May. I think it's May 3rd is the first one. I'm working with. We actually have Smooth Water, which is a new drink out here that's in a lot of places all over New Jersey already. We have them coming in. They got great DJs over there. DJ Smooth is one of their DJs. DJ Nine, they work really big in the Philly area. And they have actually these huge tailgates and huge stuff that they actually had. I don't know if you know Kevin Hart,
No, I do
the
not.
comedian Kevin Hart. He was at their last tailgate and their last thing,
Right.
so that it's huge. We got them coming out, so that's a big party I'm looking forward to. And listen, I can be reached always on my Instagram too. I'm here to answer any questions I can. Sometimes it takes me a little bit to get to some of the messages because fortunately and unfortunately, I get a lot of messages through my
I
Instagram,
always good.
which is good. I love it. So please keep doing it.
Very nice. Very nice. So, I mean, you do reach a lot of different atmosphere in different places. How do you feel when you go somewhere that you know, or you're not sure what you're going to play and you have to test it? I mean, what is your deep feeling when you get to do that?
Nervous, scared. What the hell am I gonna do? I like to
Yeah,
prepare. Like I don't like going into you like there are events, that I'm glad you brought that up that are like that. You know what I mean? That you can't prepare for. You just don't know what direction because you've never
yeah,
been there.
yeah.
So you're always scared and nervous. But I'll be honest, I don't remember a party where it hasn't been 3 or 4 songs that I've gotten into the night where I'm like, okay, here we go. You know what I mean? Like pretty much within the first 10 minutes,
Yeah, yeah,
depending on when I go on. Obviously, if I'm starting a night somewhere, it might take a little bit longer. But if I go in as the main guy and it's a different crowd, I'll know pretty much what I'm going to play most of the night within the first 10-15 minutes of the night. But you are nervous beforehand because you don't know
yeah,
what direction you're going to go. You don't know how this crowd is going to be. You're like, whew, come on, get them. You're getting, but you're also at this point. I'm also confident that all right, let's see which direction they're going to go. Let's see.
yeah, yeah.
I'll start sweating a little bit in the beginning, and then you calm down. And after the first 15 minutes, you're usually pretty set.
Sure,
Or you
sure.
should be at this stage in the game. Now, if you're starting out or you're a newer DJ, it might take you a little bit longer to get comfortable, unless you're there for a scheduled, EDM night and that's what you're playing and whatever. But like you said, for a night you don't know or a night that's a toss up, it's a little nerve wracking in the beginning for sure.
Do you think the equipment, for sure, between nightclubs, the equipment is different, right? So, does that affect you anyhow when you
Yes.
start? Yeah,
Yes, 100% it affects you. I mean, I remember this one place I played out in Philadelphia. They pretty much had the same equipment, but where the fader was on the CD players, it was completely different than I'm used to. It was on the top, not the
Right.
side, right? So I'm used to, like, I'm DJing, boom, right to the side. I go to the side. This was all the way at the top. So I'm, your hand motions aren't used to going and changing the beat at
Yeah.
the top. So yeah, it took me like a good hour and a half to just get used to my hand just going to that area. So yeah, so there was a couple mixes in the beginning where I'm like, oh my God, like, where I heard it not that terribly off, but it was a little off.
Yeah.
The beat was a little off because I wasn't comfortable with that equipment yet, So that's just one time I can remember. A lot of the good part of clubs, I guess at least that I've been in, they all use a Pioneer. They all using kind of the same equipment. So
Yeah.
Pioneer is kind of the universal equipment all over the world, to be
Yeah.
honest with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So as long as you got that, you're usually pretty good. And you usually know, for the bigger jobs and the bigger clubs, they tell you what they have. They tell you what you're going into so you could prepare. When it's kind of like, not every place you play at is a huge club. You know what I mean? You might play at a good local bar that has hundreds of people in it. But you know what I mean? So at those places, you might not know exactly what they have. But at the bigger places, you're normally going to know what they have. You're going to be fine with it and hopefully comfortable. But yeah, there's been a couple times the equipment's different. You're like, whew, I don't know, but here we go. We're gonna make it work.
In the end, just to complement what you just said, you have a great skill, which I wanted to for people to know that part, which is improvisation, which is very, very important in your line of work. Many people don't have it or don't have it so strong, and it's very needed everywhere because you never know what's going to happen. You never know how it's exactly going to be, and you still feel comfortable going there, and you're still doing it. Doesn't matter how, but you still do it. I mean, it's really a big skill, and I do congratulate you for that. Because it's
That
improvisation. It's I mean, not everyone has it.
that is. I'm glad you brought that up because that is a huge point. Is improv, and it's a better word to describe what I was talking about before.
Yeah.
Is thinking outside the box. Is being able to be improv in this industry is probably one of the top 5 things
Yeah.
to make you good at it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree with you. That was a very, very great point.
Very nice. So, Ryan, before we leave, would you like to mention anything else that we haven't brought up yet?
No, I mean, you can catch me on the weekends on 98.5, Power 98.5 on satellite radio, every weekend. Every weekend I'm DJing somewhere, so catch me on my Instagram, catch me on my stories. You could see where I'm at if you want to rock out. Just I know we didn't talk about it, but I was on Netflix, Queer Eye for the Straight
Okay.
Guy, season 5, episode 6. So
Nice.
I was. You can catch me on Netflix. See a little bit more about my family and my history. To just even learn a little bit more about me, if you want.
Very nice.
And that's it, man. Catch my SoundCloud, and I'll have a lot of new stuff before the summertime.
Congratulations on all your achievements, Ryan. For sure we are in touch, and I wish you always all the best in your gigs, your tracks, and all your future work. Congratulations on all your achievements.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Congratulations to you. This was a privilege. I'm honored for you to have me on your show.
Thank you so much.
So thank you so much. I had a great time.
Don't leave yet, Ryan.
Yeah.
So everyone, thank you so much for hearing us today. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Catch you on the next one. See you.